Hey guys, Coupons here from Pull On 2. This is going to be your Phase 3 Mythic Alleria positional guide. Go into the Mythic changes really quick. Essentially, you're going to have the ads come back from Phase 1, and you're going to have to kill them on each slice, along with one of the Rift Simulacrums, the same one you lusted and killed at the start of P2. You're going to get those on each platform in P3 as well. So let's look at the start of P3. You're going to finish the second intermission on the X slice. And the idea here is you're trying to bait the simulacrum on square. So you want to have your raid to the right hand side of that slice facing the center of the room. And because you're closer to triangle and you're on X, it's going to cause that rift simulacrum to spawn on square. Once that ad is out, you're going to kind of group up in this center point here, and you're going to wait for tethers to come out. And once the tethers come out, you can actually jump across. You won't be using a gate here. You'll just be getting your own way across. I would highly suggest using the WoW Utils add-on to assign all of your players to make sure everyone can get across themselves, and if they can't, they have Augevokers or priests helping them get across. And just as a general rule of thumb to make this easier for P3 for everyone on our side, we're going to have a break order that always goes tank, melee, ranged. I know I say tank plus melee, but it's always going to be tank first, then melee, then ranged. On this first break, you can actually do the first two at the same time because everyone should be healthy here. So essentially we're baiting the tethers here on the X platform, and then we're jumping across to break. Tank wants to go first, then melee, and then ranged. And then once we get across, the pattern of the fight is pretty straightforward and has a really good cadence to it. There's essentially obelisks into void puddles. So what we'll try to do is bait the obelisks in a place to where we move as a team, similar to heroic, right? We'll want to kind of stack up and bait the obelisks as a team here, and then move into position to get ready for the baits. And so this is when the first P1 ad returns. And what we will do, I think it depends on DPS here, we'll want to just assign all ranged to hit the two ads in the middle while baiting, and then all of the melee can just sit on Alleria here in the corner. So you'll want your off tank to get the ad in the middle, the other tank to get Alleria in the bottom corner here, and then assign your range to kill the two ads, and assign your melee to kill Alleria. You know your team best. You can swap people on and off depending on what it looks like in your DPS check for the rest of P3. But from here on out, we're going to be baiting the void puddles, and we want to bait those in the corner. These don't have to be perfect because we're really only getting one set of void puddles per platform. You just don't want to place them where we're going or in the middle of the room. So anywhere in this bottom corner where Alleria is great. And what we want to do is make sure the ads die before or as those puddles go out, so the raid can then move into the center of the slice here to get ready for the next set of mechanics, which are going to be tethers and obelisks. So you can kind of see there, we're baiting all the puddles in that corner. You know, just like P1 and P2, you get the one ranged bait and then the 4 random baits after that. And the biggest thing here with P3 is there's a lot of damage that could potentially overlap. And what you're trying to do is manage that damage across your raid to not have it all go off at once. So when those void puddles explode, like the 4 ones that get placed down there, they do a lot of damage. So does breaking the tethers. And so what you're going to try to do is wait for those void puddles to burst in the corner there, wait for your raid to be healthy, and then go into your tether breaks. And these tether breaks are going to go to the center of the room. So you're going to want to wait for the puddle explosions, and then obelisks will also spawn at this point. And so if you're pixel stacked into the boss, it makes it really easy to have the obelisk baited in a good place where you're not going to grief the raid. And on this instance, we're going to go, I have it opposite order on accident here, but again, it can go tank, melee, ranged, and then get to the center. Person with the obelisk, obviously you want to hang back and make sure you're not griefing the raid. And then you're going to stack up, and you're actually going to wait for the last possible second to gate across this gap. So what you're doing on this set here is you're waiting for tethers to spawn, and then you're waiting for the void cast to start filling up the platform. And then as soon as that ad is baited to triangle, you will gate across, essentially. And that's going to be the gate set. So make sure you have a warlock there to place the gate. Make sure everyone uses the gate at the last second. And again, that's going to be tank breaks first, then melee, then ranged. Although you'll probably end up breaking all three at the same time when you gate, and that's okay. Just make sure you have like an AMZ, a darkness, something on the other side. Everyone using massive defensives here to make sure that you don't die immediately, right? And then you're on the second slice, you're on the second platform, and you essentially repeat the process. The cadence is about the same. You bait the obelisks and get into your corner, and then you assign your DPS appropriately, right? And then the wrong order there, but again, you're going to bait the stuff in the corner and get ready for tethers. And then as soon as tethers come out, you want to hold and wait for the explosions from the puddles. And you want to make sure you wait for the obelisks. And then in this instance, you can actually break towards X straight away, or you can break towards the center of the room and then go X. But on this set here, as soon as you break these tethers, you want to move over because there's only one platform left for the ad to spawn. And again, it's gonna this is another big part in the fight that's gonna hurt because you're gonna get these tethers into another set of tethers as soon as you jump over. So again, try to get your tank to break first, try to get melee second, range third, make sure your raid is healthy. This is a non-gate set, so you need to, again, assign or make sure that people have ways to get over. And this is emptying the bag to make sure you live, because you're going to immediately get into another set of tethers and obelisks right when you go over. And this is going to be the last ad with the last Rift Simulacrum here. And again, you just repeat the process again. And the general rule of thumb on this last platform is if Alleria has less HP than the P1 ad, you just focus Alleria and kill her. Otherwise, again, you'll want to assign your damage appropriately and make sure the ad and the Rift Simulacrum die. But that is essentially the entirety of P3. It's pretty easy. Some things you just need to keep an eye on is managing your raid damage by waiting to break your tethers after the explosions happen. Make sure your raid is healthy before those go off. Make sure tank positioning and Alleria positioning is really good. Make sure you're baiting obelisks well, you're baiting the puddles well. And then make sure your damage is split appropriately. You want high Alleria damage here. You don't want to commit too much damage to the ads, but you want to make sure they die within reason to make sure your team has enough space to get to the center of the room for those tether baits. And that's P3. After you're done here, get to head on over to the March of Quel'Danas. See you there.